Warning, this video contains rumors, speculation, strong opinions, and
Alright, welcome to this episode of Movie Madness, and we're going to talk about the Fandom Menace and Comicsgate, how they respond to criticism. I'm trying still to do the fair and balanced view, so this clip from Ethan Van Sciver on the Comic Artist Pro Secrets channel is very important because I do not think it's fair. Now, do I agree with everything the Comic Book Hut does? No. But I honestly believe that he is fighting for consumer rights. And I think that's what started with the Fandom Menace and Comicsgate, in my opinion, have lost their way. And it's actually, we're going to watch the clip first, and then I'm going to go upstairs to talk about it. I honestly think it's disgusting, the response to a little criticism. Valid criticism based on the results to the consumer. So it's really, tell me below in the comments section, honestly, if this is scary mob boss groupthink and mob mentality. I am open to a discussion. If you think I'm wrong in this video, that's where I want the conversations to start. That's what I'm trying to do on my videos now. So let's take a look and listen to this important part of this is the most important part of his 2-hour live stream discussing various things, but this main part of the section is about the Stealing Solo comic.
Jealous. Comic Book Hut is doing videos about you left and right, and the videos that he does about you are getting 2 times the views as the videos he does on me. And what do you think that's going to result in? These same people that sit there and go, they're only doing this for views. They're doing this for views. It's just outrage for views. Well, that's Comic Book Hut. Comic Book Hut is completely outrage for views. I'm the people's champion. These douchebags. I'm not going to talk about Bleeding Cool this way. Bleeding Cool is a whole other thing. But douchebags like this are just in the way. I mean, these guys, look, guys, you're really brave. All of you are really brave. Comic Book Hut, the people's champion. You're really brave kicking the underdog. You're really brave. You know, Comicsgate contains a lot of kind of indie creators who are struggling and trying to get traction, trying to get their books up off the ground. And then you've got, big, huge, gargantuan talents like myself that, you can kick me around a little bit. I should have gotten Cyberfrog out quicker. Don't worry, won't make that mistake again. But a lot of these guys who you're beating up on we're the underdog. It's like been kicked around already by, you're already shunned by the mainstream. Everybody's calling you a racist, bigot, homophobe, sexist. And I'm like, I'm not a racist or a bigot or a homophobe. A bit of a sexist, though. Guilty. But other people have to endure this. Other people have to endure this left and right. And then you've got people who should be on our side who sit there and decide that they're going to fire into the, you know what I mean? We're going to fire into the dugout. We're going to fire into our own trenches and take out our own soldiers, our own limited army, because they're not being good enough. They're not good enough. They're not doing a good enough job fighting back against the massive corporations that have been taken over by SJWs. Oh, they owe the customers so much more. Let's kick these guys in the shins when they fuck up even slightly. Oh, we're so brave. I'm the people's champion. These people are scabs and parasites, obviously. I don't need to say it. You already know it. When you see these guys who are Comicsgate or Comicsgate aligned or have the same goals as us actually actively making YouTube channels specifically and YouTube content specifically to pick on our own guys. And even if you disagree, even if you don't like these guys, even if you are, if you're, I don't like that guy, he's aligned with this guy, I don't like that, to actively try to destroy that guy's business is pretty fucked up. It's just, I don't know how to say it. It's just like, you want to kick puppies? Is that what you want to do? Okay, kick puppies, a-hole. Very brave, very brave. Now, in this case here, we've got Jeff Hicks.
Okay, that's where I'm going to leave it. We're going to go upstairs and we're going to discuss it. Okay, so I'm back now. I really think that was a very important clip to show how it's very hypocritical of the way... See, the origins of the Fandom Menace and Comicsgate were both... Well, more so Comicsgate than Fandom Menace, were both consumer movements, not only about the SJW politics, that talking point gets the most traction, but also quality. And there are definite issues with quality, and maybe the comic book hut wouldn't exist if he's ignored constantly until it gets to that point. And a lot of these big creators, including the Comicsgate boss himself, who didn't actually say he was, but then started streaming under the name Comicsgate Live, and bringing everyone in, are they're the first ones to dish out criticisms, but they can't really take it themselves. And major egos. If you were actually a backer, EVS, maybe you'd feel different. No, you probably wouldn't, because you had him on your show. A lot of the problems that we're having now are from that big push for Comicsgate comics at the beginning on your Comicsgate live shows, pushing a lot of small creators, maybe because those actual creators gave you a bunch of super chats and you felt obligated to have them on. But now we see the results. To call them critics of yours puppy kickers and scabs for a little criticism, the comic book hut's criticism are lame compared to the Fandom Menace and the Comicsgate videos coming out criticizing creators in Marvel and DC, SJW Comics, and it's very exaggerated that there's still not quality in Marvel and DC. Yes, there's definitely issues. Yes, it's going down, along with all of print media is going down as phones and digital media becomes more and more. It's a constant battle. So my opinion is that the situation is exaggerated upon, and the truth, there is truth in it, is stretched and beyond comprehension to a point where it's ridiculous. Now, I've also, and thank you, Ethan, Ethan had me on a live stream before. He sent me a link, and he handled criticism well there, but it's really starting to crack here in this clip. I really believe it. And to say that Jeff is a puppy and criticizing his product is like kicking puppies is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is the same guy that started the potato sack calling of Kelly Marie Tran and Rose Tico, piled up a bunch of Rose Tico toys, which is a product that's subpar, and kicked them in the store. So to say he doesn't deserve the criticism when he's the first to criticize, and so are you, is where these movements die and lose credibility. Beyond losing credibility about calling everything woke trash. I think you see that as a big problem in these communities, and this is why fans aren't taken seriously. When we want companies to listen, we have to be reasonable. Yes, if a product is inferior, we need to speak out about it. If we call everything bad, and there's no pleasing, they will never listen to us. Me specifically, I feel like I am for fans first, ahead of personalities, ahead of YouTube personalities and celebrities. What you're getting here, in my opinion, and I would love to hear opposing opinions, is celebrities, groupthink mob mentality, and sorry, I had a problem with my camera again. And it seems like you're really proving with this type of behavior and response to critiques and reviews, and I really honestly believe there's an issue across the board in the review community for movies, comics, and nerd culture. This type of thinking is not helping anything. If we can't be critical of ourselves when someone fumbles, when you call critics scabs, and some of the other terminology is really getting dangerous. And he has big sway. He is a social media influencer, and he will influence a lot of the things people think and say. It's not a good look. And this is where, if you can't handle it when it's absolutely a fumble, this is where, when you do the second wave of comics, you're not going to have as many people joining in if this is how you respond. And I think we're already getting to that point. I think the consumer has had enough, because started that gangster shit. EVS did not. He's one of the most popular ones, but he did not start it. So he jumped on board too, on board of both of these movements. And the fans don't just want bigger than life personalities. They also want quality. So I want to know your thoughts. I also have plans to have Echo Base Network and some other guests on this weekend's version or episode of the War Council this Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And the other reason it's interesting to have Echo Base Network on is he is one of the supporters of stealing Solo. So I will try to have a fair and balanced conversation if he's willing to talk about it, because, to be fair, Jeff has said that he will, I believe, based on some tweets, is that he is trying to get a reprint for those that got their copies already. So he is handling it. We have to be fair, don't we? But the response is what I have a major issue with here, and that's not how you handle it. And EVS is also the one that cut up Rose Tico toys in a video. So we got to be able to handle criticism ourselves. That's my point here. Tell me what you think. I'll see you tomorrow.